I used to browse Craigslist for side gigs when money was tight. I was in college, living paycheck to paycheck, and willing to do just about anything for some quick cash. That's how I ended up responding to an ad that still gives me nightmares to this day. The listing was simple. Need a strong individual to help move furniture. $200 for 2 hours, cash in hand. I replied instantly. The poster got back to me within minutes. He gave me an address about 30 minutes outside of town and told me to come at 9 p.m. That should have been a red flag, but I was blinded by the easy money. When I arrived, the house was off. It was deep in a wooded area, barely visible from the road. The porch light was flickering, and the windows were so dark it looked abandoned. I considered turning around, but before I could, the front door creaked open. A man stepped out. He was tall and lanky, wearing a hoodie and jeans. His face was shadowed, but I could make out a smile, too wide, too forced. "You the Craigslist guy?" he asked. "Yeah," I said, hesitating. He waved me inside without another word. The house smelled musty, like mold, and something else I couldn't place. The furniture was old, covered in sheets. I noticed something strange. Despite needing help moving furniture, there were no moving boxes, no signs of anyone packing up. Then I saw the door. It was at the end of the hall, slightly ajar, leading to the basement. He noticed me looking. "Most of the heavy stuff's down there," he said, already heading toward it. Every instinct in my body screamed at me to leave, but I followed, my pride keeping me from backing out. The stairs were steep and narrow, and the basement was colder than the rest of the house. A single, dim light bulb barely illuminated the space. I saw a couch, an old dresser, but no sign of anything needing to be moved. Then I heard it, a shuffle, a rustling sound coming from the shadows. I turned to him. "What exactly are we moving?" His smile never wavered. "Just need help with something heavy." He took a step toward me. I took a step back. That's when I saw it. The edge of a mattress, barely visible behind an old bookcase. And beneath it, fingers. Someone was lying there. I bolted. I didn't think. I just ran. I shoved past him, taking the stairs 2 at a time. I heard footsteps behind me, but I didn't look back. I sprinted through the living room and out the front door, not stopping until I reached my car. As I fumbled for my keys, I saw movement in the house. Not just the man. Another figure. Someone else had been waiting in the shadows. The engine roared to life and I tore out of there, heart pounding. I didn't stop until I was miles away. I reported the address to the police. A few days later, I got a call back. The house was abandoned. No furniture, no signs of recent occupation. But in the basement, they found the mattress. And beneath it, bloodstains. They never found the man, or whoever was hiding with him. I haven't used Craigslist since. I've always been cautious about Craigslist, but I was desperate for a cheap car. My old Beater finally died on me, and I needed something reliable. I found a listing for a 2008 Honda Civic in perfect condition for only $2,500, way below market value. The ad was simple, just a couple of grainy photos and a vague description. It seemed sketchy, but I figured it was worth a look. I messaged the seller, a guy named Mike. He replied almost instantly, saying he was moving out of state and needed the car gone fast. He sent me an address, a rural house about 40 minutes outside the city. That should have been my first red flag. I asked a buddy to come with me, but he bailed last minute, so I went alone. The drive out was unsettling. The GPS led me down a series of winding back roads, each more isolated than the last. By the time I reached the house, I realized there were no other homes in sight, just dense woods stretching into the darkness. The place itself looked abandoned. The windows were boarded up, and the yard was overgrown with weeds. The car, however, was there, parked in the driveway, looking surprisingly clean. I parked beside it and waited. No sign of Mike. I texted him. No response. After a few minutes, I stepped out to inspect the car. The doors were unlocked. Peeking inside, I saw the interior was spotless, almost too clean. That's when I noticed something weird. The keys were already in the ignition. That was my second red flag. I stood there for a second, debating whether to just leave when I heard a noise from the house. A faint creaking, like a door slowly opening. I turned toward the front porch. The door was slightly ajar now, just enough for someone to peek out. But I didn't see anyone. Something was off. I called out, "Mike?" but got no answer. A sudden thump came from inside the house. Heavy footsteps, then silence. My stomach dropped. Someone was in there watching me. I backed toward my car, trying to act casual. But as soon as I reached for my door handle, a voice called out, "You can take it." The voice was deep, raspy. It came from inside the house. I turned back. The door was wide open now, revealing nothing but pitch black darkness inside. "You can take the car. Just get in." Drive something about the way he said it made my skin crawl. It wasn't a friendly offer. It was urgent. A warning. That was my final red flag. I muttered something about coming back later and yanked my door open. Just as I jumped inside, I heard rapid footsteps from the house, coming fast, too fast. I didn't look. I didn't wait. I slammed my car into reverse and floored it. My tires spun against the gravel before finally catching, and I shot backward down the driveway. As I turned onto the road, I glanced in my rearview mirror. A man stood at the edge of the driveway watching me. His face was completely obscured by shadows, but I could tell he was tall, lanky, and unmoving. He just stood there staring. I sped all the way home, my heart pounding the entire drive. The next morning, curiosity got the best of me. I searched the address online. No results. I tried looking up Mike on Craigslist, but the listing was gone, like it never existed. I still don't know what was waiting for me inside that house, and I don't want to. I've always been a sucker for free stuff. Craigslist's free section has saved me a ton of money over the years. Furniture, old electronics, even a decent mountain bike once. So when I saw a listing for a free couch in my area, I jumped on it. The post was simple. "Free couch, must pick up tonight. Moving ASAP, text only." A single blurry picture showed what looked like a dark-colored sectional in decent shape. I figured maybe someone was in a hurry to clear out before a lease ended. I texted the number immediately. A few minutes later, I got a response. "Come now. Address, 428 North Pine Street, side door is open. Take it, don't knock." That was weird, but people are strange, and I wasn't about to pass up a free couch just because someone was socially awkward. I loaded up my truck and headed out. North Pine was in a quiet, run-down part of town. Not exactly dangerous, but not somewhere you'd want to hang around at night. When I arrived, the house looked abandoned. Peeling paint, boarded up windows, overgrown yard. I double-checked the address. 428. This was it. No lights, no car in the driveway. But, just like the text said, the side door was slightly open. I hesitated. Normally, I'd never just walk into someone's house uninvited, but they did say to take the couch. Maybe they had already left. I pushed the door open. The air inside was stale, thick with the scent of mildew and something else. Something rotting. My phone flashlight barely cut through the darkness. The living room was mostly empty, except for the couch. I stepped closer. The couch was nicer than in the picture. Big, dark, clean. Too clean, actually. It smelled new, like plastic, but something about it felt off. Then I noticed the stains. Dark patches on the fabric, barely visible in the dim light. My stomach turned. Blood. I crouched down, running my fingers over the material. It was stiff, like it had been recently scrubbed clean. I felt something underneath, something lumpy, like stuffing but harder. A sudden noise, a soft creak from deeper inside the house. I froze. Was someone here? My heart pounded as I slowly turned toward the hallway. Pitch black. My phone light barely reached the doorway. Another creak, closer this time. I wasn't alone. A whisper, low, hoarse, right near my ear. Sid. I ran. I didn't think, didn't look back. I bolted out the door, straight to my truck. Tires screeched as I peeled away, watching the house shrink in my rearview mirror. My phone buzzed. A text from the same number. Where are you going? The couch is free. I blocked the number. That night, I barely slept. My mind kept replaying the whisper, the way it had felt like someone was right behind me. The next morning, curiosity got the best of me. I looked up 428 North Pine. The house had been abandoned for years. No one had lived there since the previous owner, an old man, had disappeared. The rumor was that he'd been murdered, but the body was never found. I don't know who texted me. I don't know what was inside that couch, but I know one thing for sure. Craigslist isn't worth dying for.